Hi, Avital.
Hi, Mayim.
We decided to talk today because what we do a lot of times on our sort of Grack Nation page where we communicate through the app called Slack is we share articles that come up that we think are relevant either to our brand or in terms of what you and I like to talk about and do issues of women and feminism. You are a very accomplished writer and expert in the field of feminism and women's issues. And in particular, you're the editor and curator for our Feminism 101 column, which happens every Friday. So please, let's discuss and I typically don't like to call out celebrities and bash them or be kind of critical as a way to be, what's it called? Clickbait? Is that what the kids call it when you do something just for controversy?
Clickbait.
But this issue is so kind of instantly polarizing between you and me in a very healthy way. And not only do I think it's important for us to discuss it so people can hear sort of the issues on both sides of this, but I think it's also important for people to see that two strong-minded, independent, intelligent women can disagree on something and have the same larger goal of liberating women and all people of race, class, and gender struggles, but that there is a discourse and a way that we can speak about it. So we really haven't prepared this.
No, for sure. I mean, the article was posted, a couple people chimed in, and then I messaged you, I'm like, yeah, I don't agree with you. And then you asked me if I was on drugs, and I said, not yet. Being honest.
Okay, so do you want to lay out? Yeah, why don't you lay out sort of what
And I think we can also talk
happened.
about this without necessarily focusing just on Amber Rose, right? So this Amber Rose kind of sparked this conversation, but it's definitely a bigger conversation, and one I think you and I, the topic, not that necessarily we butt heads, but we have different opinions, and I think that's okay. And I think that's, that's feminism to a large extent, and Judaism, right? Like questioning, and there's no one answer. But Amber Rose, I think Instagrammed or tweeted a picture of herself, bottomless. She had on a bikini and a jacket, but no bottom, and all oil slicked up. And it was actually, she posted it in promotion of her Slut Walk event, which I thought was pretty awesome. And her third annual, so we should also talk about how she's actually walking the walk, but we can, talk about that later. And you said that's not feminist of her.
Well, so
well, no, you said you agreed with Piers Morgan, which I think is more inflammatory.
Well, right. Well, so this is how I became aware of this because Piers Morgan reacted to this Instagram posting that she did. She posted it knowing that it would be removed because it does go against rules of Instagram. And what happened was, so it's like if I landed from another planet, like if I literally came from another planet and I listened to what you just said, like I can't even understand. So she posted a picture of herself, and
bottomless,
with her vagina was showing.
Her pubic area was showing. We did not see her vagina. Let's be anatomically correct. It's not even her vulva. It was her pubic area with hair.
Right, and so that actually was her statement was, let's bring back the bush. When the picture was removed is when she said that her badass feminist picture was taken down.
Right.
To which Piers Morgan said, what about this is feminism? That's really where I got curious.
But can we talk about how Piers Morgan is nowhere near the arbitrator when it comes to feminism?
No, absolutely not. But
and we should make that caveat that he has
but the place where I do tend to agree with him is that I tend to be a socially conservative feminist in that I am someone who absolutely believes and fights for and lives the struggle of liberating people from the bounds of race, class, and gender. I don't understand why exposing your pubic hair is a feminist act.
In my mind, there's two aspects. There's agency, and who has that agency, and the gaze, right? So whose gaze is it? So I told you, I'm absolutely fine with Amber Rose posting that picture. In contrast, I absolutely despise when magazines like Maxim post like the new hottest teenage ingenue in a wet tank top, so her nipples are showing with like her makeup dripping down on their pages.
What
does that make sense? So what?
No,
it doesn't. So okay, in Amber's case, In Amber's case, she's posting a picture that she commissioned, right? Someone took that picture of her own volition, meaning she went out and specifically wanted this aesthetic. And especially for a woman of color, I think it's really important who has ownership and control of her body and showing her body, and who gets to decide how and where that body is shown. So there's that.
Okay.
But, and then there's also with these magazines, that's their whole industry. Their industry is selling sex. And you can say, yep, that Amber Rose's industry is selling sex to a degree, or her brand is a sexy brand, right? I mean, I admit I don't follow her beyond what I read in pop culture and when she hits the news for these kinds of things. But I have seen like what she does for her slut walks and things like that.
What's a slut walk?
So a slut walk is a march, and I think she's turned it into like a whole weekend of learning plus activism, where it's about body positivity, it's about inclusion on every level, trans inclusion, everything on the LGBT spectrum, as well as race and all of that.
Why has it got that word slut?
So it's about reclaiming it, right? Reclaiming that when you say that I'm a slut because I'm dressed with a tank top and booty shorts, I'm saying I'm comfortable in this outfit and I should wear what I want to be able to wear.
That's not what slut used to mean.
No, but it's the idea. It doesn't necessarily have to do with sleeping around. I think it's the idea that I can dress the way I want to dress, and that doesn't mean anything about my sexuality, my sexual proclivities, my sexual experiences.
Availability. Okay.
Yeah, any of that. Shouldn't matter. That I could want to wear, pasties and a G-string. None of that sounds appealing to me.
I always want to wear pasties and a G-string.
But it can mean that I don't want to wear a bra, and I should be okay walking around in my tank top without a bra because it's uncomfortable to me. And that
but people are gonna like men likely will hoot and holler at you because that's some men do that.
Right, but so the idea is that's not okay, right? That's harassment.
No. Yeah.
And so that's what what's the impetus behind these walks.
Okay.
Is that just recognizing the idea that there's a lot of body shaming, there's a lot of oppression, assault, and violence, all because of how people look. Like they're just. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, and so the way that she chooses to bring attention to a festival emphasizing body positivity is by exposing her pubic hair on Instagram and then declaring it a feminist act when people say that maybe that's not cool.
But who's saying it's not cool? What's not cool about it? Instagram is an app that has an age limit. That she's not sending it and putting it out and like sending flyers to like the local preschool with it on it. It's not like she bought out 30 minutes of airtime where anyone would accidentally stumble across her naked bottom.
Okay. Oiled up pubic hair is not something that I really think, is empowering as a feminist act, nor do I really think it belongs on a public social media forum. Because I don't think it's at all different from an 18-year-old oiled up on the pages of Maxim. It's titillation, it's provocation,
but it's done so with
trying to thumb your nose at the man, whoever that is. This is a person raised in the patriarchy to believe that comfort with one's body means exposing it.
No, but I don't think that necessarily. I think I don't know if she's necessarily been like brainwashed into thinking that. But I get completely, because we have those magazines with those images. It makes it a lot more. But I really think it's about who has the power, the control, and the agency in the situation, and it's all her. I think,
to me, that's hijacking a legitimate cause of feminism that fights for equal rights in the workplace, and it fights for access to birth control and healthcare, and it fights for a woman's right to choose what she does with her body. I don't understand this and I think that's.
But she's choosing what to do with her body here, right? She's choosing to put it on this platform and to share it with the world because she's comfortable enough to do that.
She has a body that is aesthetically attractive to, again, a heterosexually organized society.
Yeah, fair.
I think that that's really where I see that she's fitting into the dictates of a society that have decided to label this feminist, but what it really is, it's another way that we're being held by the male gaze. And we're taking it as our own because we've been told to like slap a name on it. This is feminist. But it's what it is it's a society that now allows and accepts and encourages young girls to display their bodies as an act of empowerment, when what it is causing men to leave comments and say gross and disgusting things that we see that men say when any attractive woman posts a photo of herself. So to me, like, I would use my feminist voice and vagina and pubic hair, to fight other kinds of injustice. Or for me, the act of not shaving or waxing my body hair, to me, is much more a conversation about feminism in terms of what's expected of us and how men see us and how women see each other. That's something you and I have spoken about. The fact that most women and men are still like super creeped out when they find out that I don't shave, and like, how do you function in society? Like, to me, that's more interesting than I'm going to oil my body up and lay myself on a set of stairs with my, pubic hair exposed as a feminist act to bring back the bush, which, like, I just prefer not to call it a bush. Like, it's just like, to me, again, like, that's just not a term that I find empowering. So,
okay. Yeah. So I think we can't assume where she's coming from, right? And I think it's unfair of anybody to say that she's been hoodwinked by the patriarchy.
Sure. Just
especially also based on her actions, right? I think by that I mean like her slut walk and her advocacy that she's done multiple times. It just wasn't a one-off to like sell an album, Katy Perry. But it's something that she's been doing for multiple years. You could tell she has skin in the game, so to speak, on multiple levels. And I think also, I know it's frustrating and it's difficult, especially for those of us who have been entrenched and working in the feminist field for a long time, when you see someone come along and kind of couch feminism in a way that we're not used to and we're not necessarily comfortable with. But you also have to recognize her audience is completely different. And it's a whole nother generation where maybe young men and young women are seeing somebody like her with pubic hair when all they've been shown, whether it's in Maxim, I guess Maxim doesn't show really naked parts, but like in Playboy where things are completely nude.
Oh, no, yeah. My assumption, if I only looked at magazines or even men's magazines, would be that women must not have pubic hair.
In pornography, right? So if you're showing, and I think so in that instance,
even media, it's not even pornography, it's just media.
So in that instance, she's literally showing, not just talking about.
Why not write an essay about it?
Well, why not write an essay? I mean, essays have been written. And we have to admit that there's a generation of people that might not click on those essays, but a quick photo. So there is going to be that impact. Yes, there will be tons of people. Hair. Yeah. And I think also I think she's valuable. I mean, she's valuable in many ways, but in this one instance regarding feminism, I think she really is making a connection between people who may not. And so maybe that just gets them interested in feminism or interested in the whole body hair politics conversation. And I think Amber Rose also made a really good point in saying, Adam Levine can post photos of himself completely naked down to that little like sexy V that some guys have. And I figured.
Finish your sentence though.
But that, so that Adam Levine can post an Instagram picture with his pants down to as far low as you can go without seeing something wrinkly.
Yeah, because it's different.
And nobody, and Piers Morgan isn't, and he's doing that to promote a cause and to promote his organization or whatever it is. And nobody's like, you're using your body in this way.
Okay, so hold on. Mm-hmm. So is your feeling that these should be completely equivalent? If a woman if a man can show
his body
up to a certain part, is it the same for women?
I mean, it should be.
It should be.
I think so. I mean, I think we live in a society that has sexualized bodies, so it's not very possible now because we see specifically women's bodies, as sexualized, right? Men's bodies, not as much, I don't think.
Well, we also live in a society where women are victimized and raped and assaulted, and men are not.
To the same degree.
To me, correct. So, well, to a statistically significantly different
sure.
degree.
But I don't want to diminish any.
No,
yes.
no, not at all.
But
what I'm saying is, like, there is a difference in how general society views women, treats women, protects women, or doesn't protect women. And to me, the way that we break down those barriers, to me, is not by forcing that level of sexualized equality on
then we need
the
to
American
be careful.
or global public.
But then we have to be careful, because then I feel it's a really slippery slope to, well, what were you wearing the night you got raped?
Absolutely, 100%. And it's very...
I mean?
Right. And I think this is a good place also for us to sort of, I mean, I think we should conclude so that we can, you know, also piece this together.
Yeah.
I think this has been really helpful. I will say that, like, my jaw has been open for most of the time that we've been talking, because, like, it feels so scary to me to feel like such a staunch, like, outraged feminist. Like, I walk around and see injustice every day all around me, and I work so hard every day with my children and the men I know and the women I know to educate them about feminism and what it means, the way we speak and the way we interact and the way we date. Like, it's like, you know, feminism's like my eyes are blue, you know, like I can't even separate it from myself. It's like being Jewish. Like, that's just who I am. So for me to see something where I feel so out of it and I feel so like old and I feel so like I don't get what's going on, I don't even know how to use this vernacular, that's what's so frustrating to me. I feel like, how can we bridge that?
Well, so let's look at that, though. Let's look at kind of the evolution of feminism, where at one point women of color weren't even included. Right? And lesbians weren't even included, right? The purple scare, all of that. So we have to look and see how we've grown as a movement. And whether, and then, I mean, you know, time will tell. Is this the right way? Can we do multiple ways at the same time? I don't know. But
let's try not posing pictures of our pubic hair and see what happens.
But plenty of people don't, right? So, I mean,
I'm kidding.
No, I know. But I feel
Feminists
like...
have a sense of humor. I was kidding.
What? Feminists aren't funny or have a sense of humor. But I feel we do need to look at kind of this evolution of feminism, and that, yeah, she's showing this part of her body. It makes you uncomfortable. Sit with that. Why are you feeling that way? Is it because she's attaching the label feminism to this picture?
Yes.
So if she didn't say it was a feminist photo...
Why is she oily? I mean, I got a million reasons. I feel pretty clear. Why is she oily?
But what does oily have to do?
She's comfortable with her oil?
Because that's a style of picture she likes, and it makes her body look good and accentuates the parts of it. I don't know. Maybe she just was feeling really ashy that day and needed to oil up. I don't know. But I think sometimes it's okay to sit with our discomfort.
I'm sitting in it.
And I think there's a lot of aspects of feminism where we have these tensions, right? Sex work is definitely one of them. We've talked about that before, pornography and sex work. The trans movement, there's a lot of, people who are trans exclusionary radical feminists. And I, as a feminist, am not okay with that. I speak out against that whenever I can. I think women's spaces should be available to anyone who identifies as women. And I know that there are feminists that think I'm, in the wrong for thinking that way. So if she's not actively hurting anyone, if nobody is actively hurting her in this process, if she has the agency and it's her gaze that we're looking at this through, I'm okay with it.
If there's one thing that I've gotten besides an explanation, which I literally did not know how you were going to explain this, I think what I've gotten from this conversation is that we sometimes have to reach people different ways, and I don't get to decide the way that all women or men get to perceive feminism. And some creepy dude may say, like, I love feminism. If it means I can see her bush all oiled up, I'm all for it. And that's gross. But that's not going to be everyone. And I have to, like, simmer down that anger I have at the way men,
at those men,
and some women will look at her.
Right. Right, but you know what? If those objectifying men are like, I'm on the feminism train now because of that, then you go back to them and you say, great, now can I help, can you sign up to help escort at an abortion clinic? Or let's talk about funding for
well, and I think
this and
I
that.
think that's also something that's problematic for me is the dissemination of this information on the internet on a platform that is all about clicks and likes and hearts and creepy comments. I think that's what's hard. There is no follow-up. This is just
so
a
what I'm
photo that
saying
then
is
becomes
with
Piers
her
Morgan fodder,
So what I'm saying with her, it is. I think with a lot of with some other people that might
I'm
not
saying
be
in
the
general.
case.
I won't have that conversation with the hundreds, thousands, or millions of men who feel that way,
Right.
And she won't either. And it was removed from Instagram and became Piers Morgan fodder, which, I've flashed my breasts to Piers Morgan. So, I've confronted him on his issues already and possibly will have to again. So I really want to thank you because I learned so much from you about feminism and, again, not only how to approach ideas, but how to have conversations respectfully. I really think, it sounds so bonkers, but I do understand things, better also from hearing you explain it and also being able to kind of dial back my judgment and uncomfortableness.
Well, listen, the Slut Walk is in October in LA. Maybe we go and see what it's all about.
Okay, what do I wear to that?
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Whatever
I knew you
you
were going to
want.
say that. I love you, Avital.
I love
Thank
you too. Mwah.
Bye.